Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Lockdown Showdown, brought to you by the Bodyboarding News Network. It's a bit of a cold day in Cape Town, but this next episode is hot. We're bringing you Mark McCarthy. We got the opportunity to drop in with your old booty, and we are very excited to bring you this episode. This one is high energy, high impact. Enjoy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are dropping in on Mark McCarthy. Mark McCarthy, welcome to the Lockdown Showdown. It's a pleasure having you. What's been happening? How's life under lockdown?
Yeah, cheers, Dan. Thanks, buddy. I've been watching most of the series you guys been going, and it looks pretty good. Yeah, lockdown South Africa has been pretty shitty. Not allowed to leave the house, only for to get essential needs, and no surfing, no running, no nothing. Full lockdown, yeah.
So what have you been doing to keeping yourself busy instead of, over and above growing a mustache?
I've been working hard at that. It's taken 2 weeks. But just trying to finalize things up with work for end of March, and just trying to get ahead of it, and obviously setting up now for a possible reopen in the next few weeks, and how we're all going to have to change our ways and how we deal with customers and set up our contacts.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, this has changed how we look at everything in the world. So I reckon let's just jump straight into it. You were one of the new school classes coming out of the South African stable after the likes of Andre Bertha and Alistair Taylor. You basically led the charge for the young guys for quite a while. You were on a tour for also, I think it was up to 4 years, if I'm not mistaken. And then you've had some ups, you've had some downs, and we're going to talk about a few of them, and specifically that second year on tour, which was quite a rough year for you, and then it all finishing in the Canary Islands at Confital, and you actually winning that event. So take us through that roller coaster of that second year leading up to Confital, the heats before that, and actual final, and kind of what happened afterwards.
Yeah, 2009. It was up and down year. I ended up winning a event in Ferrol in Spain a few months prior to that event, and that's when I signed up with Mark Stewart, and we had really got a good relationship going. We had been traveling for the last year together, and we went our separate ways, and we met up in the Canary Islands for the last event of the year. I think we had a month off to prepare for this event, knowing that it's a right-hander. I'd favor my odds at that stage. I felt like I'd be surfing my best, and I could take on anybody at that wave. When it's really good, it's probably one of the best right-hand waves in the world. So yeah, me and Mark, we were staying together that year for their final event. We did a lot of work, and Mark just loves, that's what he's really good at, is studies a wave. He studies the wave so much, you just literally have to I just soak all that information from him. He had worked out that lineup pretty good, and which helped for my confidence. I knew if I could just pick the right waves that has the right angles on, and that wrap onto that reef perfectly, and that you can, the best thing about that wave is we want to line it up so you can link up to that end ball, which if you finish it off really well there, you're always going to get a good score. I remember having a really difficult heat in that comp against John Chowell from Australia, and he's a really good rider on right hand. Is basically he's, I always looked up to him watching Shark Island videos, and I had a heat against him, and he had a really good score, and I think it was 10 seconds left, and I needed a 9.5, which I thought I wouldn't be able to get with such little time, and I was halfway to the back, and I turned around with a few seconds left, got this wave, and it just produced this massive end ball, and I did a massive invert, landed into the flats, and completed it, got the score, which pushed me through to the semi-finals the next day, which is also, it was just pumping waves. And I was lucky enough to surf that and win the semi-finals, and then surf in quite a special final against Guilherme Tomega, Ryan Hardy, and Eda Luciani. They're all ripping at that stage. And I got, I think, 3 9.5s in that final. I think that's when they counted 3 waves. No, yeah, they counted 2 waves, and that was my backup wave. Pretty amazing.
Amazing feeling. I'm so happy. A lot of time and effort training for this event. To come up on top is really a big achievement for me. It's a big thing for me, and also to make the top 24 for next year's Grand Slam tour. I'm very stoked.
Yeah, well, crazy to have a 3 9.5s in the bag against a lineup like GT, Hardy. I mean, it's incredible. And Eda Luciano being the fierce Brazilian competitor. I mean, you basically had 2 Brazilians, 1 Aussie, and yourself there. You know, that in no means is an easy heat, and it's a 4-man heat as well. That was kind of before the man-on-man system was properly brought into play. So you won this event. Who was on the beach there with you guys? How did it feel? Was it massive relief? Was there a lot of pressure heading into this event, thinking you need a good score, you need to get a good year-NM ranking? Like, what happened afterwards when your feet touched the ground as you got out of that wave?
Yeah, I knew at that stage that day if I made the final, I won. I wanted to break into the top 5 that year. I think I was like lingering around the 10th position, break into the top 5, and then start the year fresh, feeling good. But yeah, that was an amazing win. I remember Jared was on the beach with Mark Stewart, and Bass was also there.
Oh, Bass.
He was in one of his missions. Yeah, he was amazing support down there too. It was an incredible day, and obviously it is that event had like set the bar for events coming up, because that guy that ran the events, he just had the best setup. He went large and everything. It was an amazing event, well organized, and it put Confital on the map, and it put Canary bodyboarding on the map for sure.
And then along came Fronton 2012. I mean, nobody can forget that event. It was probably the best Fronton surfed in a contest scene. It was just incredible, and you guys were going absolutely nuts. You had a couple of bombs yourself, especially one of those heats against Jared Houston. But I think before that, you took off on this absolute blinder triple story, 15-foot plus Fronton monster. Yeah. What the fuck were you thinking, turning on that thing?
Look at this, out the back is Mark McCarthy.
Goodness.
Oh, look at the ledge.
Oh my God.
Oh my, that is insane. I can't believe he went for it. Oh, the whole cliff is on their feet cheering. Here he is coming in, and the whitewash. Look where he's at. That was just pretty much, he's touching his head. Is he okay?
Biggest wave of the event. That was over like 10 foot.
Oh my, he's holding his head. He's trying to see if his head is bleeding. I mean,
it took every ounce of my strength not to swear then. That just blew my mind.
Oh my, I can't believe he went for that wave. There was no way. He's okay. He just waved right now. He's just checking to see. Obviously, he hit his head on something, whether it's his board, his leash. It could have been his ankle too, because there's so much power out there.
Yeah.
But that was insane. There's no way in the world anybody else on the planet would even turn around on that wave, let alone go for it and airdrop about 15 feet.
Yeah, that event, Fronton alone, it's just like, it's been such a funny contest to go to, because I think I went there 4 years in a row, and we've got skunked every single year. And then going into it in 2012, possibly being my last event that I was going to be, partake in, really hoping it for to turn on, and geez, it turned on in a big way. It turned on like never before, and the whole build up to the final day with the forecast looking incredible. Yeah, it was pretty amazing to rock up to the beach to see, 10 to 15 foot, sometimes even bigger, 20-foot barrels on a dry reef. When we got there, it was still low tide. So it was still mental, but knowing that in an hour, we probably going to have to surf this ship. And building up to that heat, I was set against it was Jeff Hubbard. At that stage, we were also staying together, and Jeff was going for the world title. He needed to make that heat and then make it to the final, I think, or just further Pierre and further. No, I think it was further Dave Winchester. It was between him and Dave Winchester, because I remember Dave being in the heat before me. I mean, the heat after me with Sasha Specker, and in that heat with Jeff, where there was so much like cat and mouse on who's going to go on the wave, because it was just so intimidating. Jeff had looked at 3 different waves and pulled back. And at that stage, I was getting a bit irritated, not because he was pulling back, because I probably would have pulled back too, some of those things, but just because I wanted to put myself in position to go on one of those waves. And Jeff he put himself in position, so I pulled back the whole time. And then when that third one came through, and all the ones that were pulled back on, I remember seeing how much they blew out, which means they must have been hollow and they must have maintained on the reef. Until this one that was a bit larger than the previous ones went, and Quibus Bosman was in the channel and he was screaming at me to go. And at that stage, I knew that was my fate. I was going on this, I just had that, that energy, and I'd push myself over the edge of that wave. By the time I got into it, I probably knew my fate. It wasn't going to end well. Luckily, I hit the reef on my second roll on my head. So luckily, it wasn't the first swing. So I didn't have too much impact on my head, but it rolled me a bit and pushed me through on the other side of the reef. But there was one hell of a wave that's probably not going to go for anytime soon.
Man, I don't know if there's any other sport in the world where you have this much risk for a competition. I mean, it's 10 foot breaking onto one of the heaviest waves in the world. Here we go. I can't speak.
Okay, so look at the wave. The wave is taking up the entire monitor.
Oh my God.
He free falls from this location all the way to the bottom. Look where he lands. I mean, there's no trail. He lands on the little second section there, and then there's another little wave that he just got annihilated on. That was massive. You can't compare that to anything, ladies and gentlemen.
His fellow South African Andre Botha would be so proud right now.
Yes, he would. Andre Botha would say, "That's my boy."
Coming through that and then still needing a 9.5. With a few seconds left, I paddled over to the channel where Sasha and Dave Winchester were paddling out, and I actually got washed all the way around. So I was paddling out, and I saw Dave, and he's like, "Oh, come on, Putty." I was like, "Sorry, Dave. It's like, I'm stuffed. I'm nowhere. I need a 9.5. It's like literally 30 seconds left, and we were paddling back out together. And then this little like funny sidewall came through when we were almost to the back line, and I was still talking to Sasha about, good luck, and I'm done in this heat. And then this wave came through, and he was like, "We paddle. We can actually get this one and have a full go."
10 seconds left, and Mark is scraping for a west one. He's
Here
going to get on it before the hooter. It's shaping up too.
Here he goes. 8.63. Is he going to get it? Is he going to get it? He comes. Oh my goodness! Ready? Oh my goodness! The last few seconds. That was insane. The South African Mark McCarthy, did he pull up an 8.63 on that last wave?
Is that possible?
Did he knock out Jeff Hubbard? Did he help Dave Winchester? Look at him, he's still pumped. Dave Winchester, goodness. If we can get a camera on him, he is going to be
ready
the
for
one.
his next peak.
He's already out there. He's already coming up next. Look at this
replay.
Mark McCarthy.
This is a 10-point tube. Just draining.
Look at, he's behind the section. He's still driving full speed ahead.
Look at this speed.
He knows he has to do something else, so he goes for an invert. Pulls it back around and loses his grip, but he pulls it off. He is pumped right there. Mark McCarthy, everybody in Richards Bay is out of their seat right now. Oh my goodness. That was incredible. Did he just help Dave Winchester in his run for the world title and knock out Jeff Hubbard, the other contender for the world title? The scores are dropping. What do we got?
Oh my God, he got a 9.83. He has made it in the last few seconds.
And as I was paddling across to get this wave, it just started building up and building up. Got into the little bit of a sidewall and it barreled the whole way through. Got the score, obviously, and pretty broken after that heat.
Yeah, it probably broke some hearts as well. Jeff must have been extremely bummed, and he just took him out. Now he has to wait on the shoreline. Yeah, dude, that was sick. Like if you,
Yeah, at least it ended well for Jeff. He still won the world title that year.
that's correct.
I think it was Pierre that beat Dave Winchester in the semi to create that Jerry and Pierre final. That was pretty amazing. But the craziest story about that heat, finishing that heat, is Jeff jumped on the first ski and he'd left, and I waited for him to come back, and then it took forever. And Jacob was watching the heat with Jeff and myself, and so it was just me and Jacob left there. And we were paddling. I was paddling back, knowing that I probably needed to surf in the next 15 or 20 minutes after this heat is the semi-final, which will be between against Jared. So I started making my way back to the little town further down, because I'd waited about 15 minutes. Jesky didn't come back. Eventually came back, and it picked up me and Jacob. And halfway through, back to where the drop-off place is, where you get the taxi ride back up to the contest area, the jet ski actually ran out of fuel.
Oh.
He didn't fuel up again. So halfway through, basically like in the middle of a really bad area, and I just heard the bank started whistling and screaming, pointing to the back. And I looked back and I saw like some of the biggest waves that had come through that day started rolling in. We got over the first one. The second one, we weren't so lucky. The jet ski guy, he was the first at a bail, and he had a life jacket on, but could barely swim, which is quite crazy. And I gave him my board, and we'd be swimming with him for about 20 minutes, and I'd been cramping up so badly, and eventually I left him with Jacob, and I swam into the beach and got ready for the semi-final. But Jacob was a legend to swim with him.
Yeah, Jacob is just a legend. Dude, that is insane. Nobody knows about that. Like, that's crazy. I mean, you're kind of fearing for your life. You need to get your new rash vest. Then you got to paddle back out after probably getting one of the biggest beatings you've ever received. And now you have to surf against a well-rested, informed Jared Houston. Like, that's nuts.
Yeah, that was caca. I was actually talking to him before. I was like, Jared, literally, I can't even surf against you. I'm cramping up my top. All my muscles are cramping up. Still gave it a go, but I knew that if I'd probably, beaten Jared, which is probably unlikely because he was on form, is to take on, Pierre possibly in the final, which at that stage I would have definitely had no legs.
Man, it's crazy how things just work out. So after that comes to my next point. Your exit from competitive bodybuilding was very swift and very, very concise. I mean, it was like that was it. That was the last event, and you kind of seemed like you just fell off the earth. Where is your booty? There was even this article by Moving Mag wondering where you went after such a great performance. So take us through, give us a little bit of your thoughts on how that came about, why you made that decision, why you left the tour, and just what shaped that decision around that.
Yeah, I mean, it was always part of the plan. I never knew that 2012 was going to be my last year, but I knew I was getting and I'd been on tour for 6 years at that stage. Had a full go at it. Loved every minute of it. Met some incredible people. Traveled around the world. Felt like I did quite a bit, and it was time to possibly do something else with my life, and had an opportunity to join the family business. Decided if I wanted to do it, I really needed to do it full on. I couldn't do the tour and do the family business, which made it a very difficult decision to walk away from it completely. But looking back at it, I probably wouldn't have done it any other way. I put my heart into what I was doing on tour, and I'm doing the same thing for the business that I'm running and taking over. So which is I'm enjoying it, and I didn't think that going back and to do an event here and there was I wouldn't really benefit much from it, knowing that how much time and effort it takes into preparing for an event or getting fit. And I wasn't really going to go to an event and get beaten just because I haven't trained, and besides the fact that there's a lot of laties that can probably give me a hard in for free.
Oh man. Listen, that was just that wave of yours is still stuck in my head. That was incredible. Okay, so cool. So now you're moving on with life and stuff like that, which is nice. Everybody needs that. So we're wishing you all the best with that. So I'm going to fire off 5 quick questions to Mark McCarthy, aka Booty. Did you have any pre-heat superstitions or rituals before you get into the water? Was it something you do or you did specifically?
Yeah, I'd make sure the day before at a bigger event, I'd definitely have a clean shave. That was something I always did. And always smash a banana before it heats.
All right, nice. Good old banana in the face. What's your favorite wave?
Favorite wave, Fronton will be there, and I have to say Cool Bay.
Yeah. Jeez, you and Cool Bay have a special relationship. Yeah, that's it's a beautiful thing. Favorite bodyboarder?
Favorite bodyboarder, I really like watching Sasha Dropney, and I really enjoy Jared.
Nice, local flavor. Well, thank you, my man. Thank you for your time. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for allowing us to drop in on you without any repercussions. Mark McCarthy, legend in and out of the water. I'll catch you later. Thank you for your time, brother.
Yes, yeah, and keep up, Bert.
How cool was that? Thank you, Mark McCarthy. Coming up in our next episode, we are dropping in on one of the most versatile riders in bodyboarding right now, Dave Hubbard, aka Dub. So I want you guys to stay safe, stay tuned. Mumbles out.